The gentle voice within you already knew in some way the weight of the revelation that was approaching. It wasn't something that emerged abruptly. On the contrary, it felt like an ancient whisper finally becoming audible, as if the universe had chosen that exact moment to share the mystery that had until then remained hidden within the lines of your life. They entrusted you with something that no one else could carry, as if each word was molded to your essence, adjusted to your spirit, like an invisible veil that only the eyes of your heart could see. You feel it, don't you? The energy reverberating around this confidence, the weight that overflows from it without even being spoken aloud. It's not the kind of secret that is revealed in a mundane manner. No, it is not something to be spread to the four winds. That would be profane, a break of the silent pact between you and the forces that chose you. Instead, the secret takes root in you like a guardian, sealed with the promise that only those with the right perception, who look beyond the visible, may one day understand its depth. You know deep down why they chose you. Your soul is a unique blend of strength and vulnerability, something rare in a world that tends to harden hearts. It is precisely for this reason that the secret finds repose in you, because your essence carries the wisdom of when to speak, and more importantly, when to remain silent. They saw that in you. But now you feel this inner presence growing, a responsibility that seems greater than anything you have ever faced. How to deal with it, how to carry such a great truth without it consuming you. This is the real challenge that stands before you. Because it is not the weight of the secret itself that is difficult, but the way it pulses in your mind and heart, demanding more space, more energy, until it becomes a living force within you. There is a reason for the request that was made of you. It wasn't a simple desire to keep something hidden. No, that would be too superficial for what is at stake here. The secret is a test, a form of transformation, not just of yourself, but of the environment around you. The power of this revelation goes far beyond what you imagine. There are layers within layers, like an echo that never stops reverberating. And these layers are not linear, they do not reveal themselves simply. Every thought, every decision, every silence of yours is a movement within a game that few understand. But you are a fundamental part of this. The idea of keeping something may sound like a prison, but in fact, it is a liberation. Liberation from external judgments, from the expectations that do not belong to you, from the noise of the world. They asked you to hide what no one else could understand, and by doing so you connect with something greater, something that transcends the common, the mundane. And what is this secret, after all? A truth that is not made of words, but of feelings, of perceptions. It is not something you can simply expose because it does not belong to the realm of logic or immediate understanding. It touches something much deeper, something that lives between the lines of reality. And it is in that place between the visible and the invisible that you operate now. It is there that you keep what has been entrusted to you, not as a burden, but as a flame. There is a paradox here, and you are beginning to realize it. The more you keep, the more you expand. The more you silence, the more you listen. There is no struggle, no conflict, just a serene acceptance that you have been chosen for this. Because yes, there is a choice involved. Not an ordinary choice, but one made before your consciousness even noticed. Something deeper, something that comes from before, from times you barely remember, yet still live within you. And now that you have been imbued with this secret, every step you take, every movement, seems guided by a new perspective. The people around you might not immediately notice the change. Perhaps some never will. But you know, don't you? You know that something has changed, that you now carry something more, something that no one else can see, but that influences everything around you. The secret is safe because it does not belong to the world of superficiality. It is safe within you, not as a stone to be carried, but as a symbol of something greater. And most importantly, it does not belong to you, just as you do not belong to it. There is a fluidity here that cannot be described, only felt. A cycle that you are part of, and that is the true mystery. Time, too, seems to unfold differently now. Days and hours are no longer measured in the same way. The secret you keep moves in a timeless manner because it is not bound to the material world. That is why sometimes you feel as though you are living outside of time, as if you are connected to something that goes beyond the here and now. And that is what brings peace. Not an ordinary peace, but a peace that transcends understanding, because it comes from the acceptance of this role, this silent yet profound responsibility. You then realize it is not about hiding out of fear or shame. Hiding, in this context, is protecting, it is honoring, it is respecting the process. There are things the world is not yet ready to see, to hear, to understand. And that is exactly why you were chosen, because you understand that true power lies not in spreading truths, but in knowing the right moment to reveal them, or indeed, the right moment to never reveal them. And when doubt arises, when the temptation to share the secret invades you, remember why you were chosen. Remember that it was not by chance that the universe entrusted you with this truth. Your ability to discern, to feel the nuances, to understand the value of silence, is what sets you apart. And in the end, that is what makes you the perfect guardian. But it is not an easy path, and you knew that from the beginning. There are moments when the secret seems to want to escape, as if it were something alive inside you, pulsing with an urgency that is difficult to control. At those moments, you need to anchor yourself in understanding that this is part of the journey. The resistance, the desire to share, all of it is part of the test. There is no error here, only continuous learning. They asked you to hide it, but they did not ask you to ignore it. The secret lives in you now, shaping the way you see the world, the way you interact with it. And with time, you will begin to realize that the true secret is not in the words that were not said, but in the transformation it provokes within you. Each moment of silence, each choice to keep it confidential, brings you closer to who you really are. The secret, then, is not something external. It is part of you, and by hiding it, you are in fact revealing who you have always been. And it is in that space where truth and mystery meet that the real magic happens. Continue saving, continue growing. What they asked you to hide was never about them. It was always about you. But the secret doesn't stop there. It continues to evolve within you, like an underground river that finds new currents at each turn, touching deeper layers of your consciousness. Perhaps now what once seemed like a burden begins to transform into something completely different, as if the very idea of hiding is fading, replaced by an even more expansive understanding of what it truly means. It is not about hiding in the sense of suppressing, but about protecting, nurturing, allowing something to grow at its own pace. You realize that the secret has its own cycle, its own time to flourish, or to remain in the darkness, waiting for a moment that may never come, but even so, continues to have value. You were chosen for this because there is something in you that knows the value of the invisible, the unspoken, the words that are never uttered, the gestures that never become actions. All these small fragments are part of a language that few can decipher, but you, somehow, are beginning to understand. This ability to feel what is beyond visible surfaces is what sets you apart, because the secret you are asked to keep is in fact a reflection of a greater wisdom that begins to unfold within you. The secret then is no longer something external. It starts to become part of your own identity. You do not carry it as a burden, but as a piece of who you are becoming. And there is a moment of peace that comes with this acceptance. Because in the end, what once seemed like an unbearable weight now transforms into a sort of companion, a subtle guide that accompanies you in moments when doubt or fear might take over. When you feel the urge to speak, to share what is inside you, there is a new wisdom that guides you, an inner voice that says, "Not yet." It is not the moment, not for the world, not for others, not for what surrounds you. And then, in your silence, you find a new form of power. Not the power of those who govern, of those who dominate, but the power of those who understand. Those who understand that there are times and seasons for all things, and that patience is often the greatest of all virtues. And this is how the secret, instead of isolating you, begins to connect you in an unexpected way. Not because you share the truth with others, but because you share a presence. The people around you may never know what you carry, but they feel the change. It's as if, by keeping this secret, you have started to access a new frequency, a new way of existing that cannot be described in words, but which manifests in actions, in silences, in glances. The secret, then, is not just a request, it is a process of transformation. It changes you, it shapes your choices, your thoughts, your emotions, and at the same time it reveals to you what really matters. Over time, you begin to realize that there is very little that needs to be said. Words are often insufficient to express what you really feel, what you really know, and that is where the true beauty lies. The secret they asked you to keep is not about the content, but about the process. By keeping it, you learn about the power of silence. By hiding it, you understand the value of patience, and by protecting it, you realize that the most important thing is not the secret itself, but what it teaches you about yourself. Why did they entrust this to you? Because they saw, long before you realized it yourself, that there is something in you that cannot be corrupted by the desire for external validation. They knew that when the moment came, you would understand that true strength lies not in sharing, but in knowing when not to share. And that, in a world that constantly demands explanations, is an act of profound courage. External voices will try to lead you astray. They will tell you that secrets are useless, that everything must be exposed, that everything needs to be revealed. But deep down, you know that this is not true. You know that some things have their own time and space to exist, and that forcing a premature revelation would betray the natural cycle of things. The secret has its own rhythm, its own dance, and you need to trust that when or if the moment comes, you will know. There will be no doubt, no hesitation. What you need to do will be clear. Until then, keep holding it. Not like someone who protects a treasure, but like someone who nurtures a seed. There is no rush because time acts in mysterious ways, and what is meant to be will be in the right time. You begin to feel then that there is a certain magic in this. It is not the magic that the world describes, with visible tricks and charms. It is a subtler, older magic, a magic that lives in silence, in patience, in trust. And it is this magic that now permeates your life. Every choice, every step, every decision you make is guided by this new perception. The secret is no longer a burden. It is a source of power, a power that does not come from domination or control, but from acceptance and stillness. You become one with this secret, and it in turn becomes part of who you are. A part that few will see, but that everyone will feel. And there is a beauty in that. Because by keeping the secret, you become a sort of guardian of the mystery. Not the mystery of others, but your own. You begin to realize that everyone carries secrets, that everyone has something that has not yet been revealed, something that is still unfolding within them. And in recognizing that in others, you begin to see the world in a new way. There is no rush for revelations. There is no need to expose what is not yet ready. And in recognizing that in others, you also find a new form of compassion. A compassion that does not force, that does not hurry, but that allows each person, each being, to bloom in their own time, in their own rhythm. And you who once thought that hiding something would be a burden, now realize that it was, in fact, a gift that allowed you to see beyond surfaces, beyond the obvious. You learn to trust not just the secret, but yourself, in your capacity to discern, to feel, to understand the nuances that life offers. The secret you were asked to hide was never about them. It was always about you, about what you would be able to discover, to learn, to become along this journey. And now you know that this journey is still far from over. The secret continues to live, to grow, to transform you, and as long as it exists within you, you will always be the guardian of something greater, something that the world may never see, but that you will always know is there. The secret you carry has the power to transform you in ways you may not yet fully understand. The journey of keeping something so profound is a process that reveals not just the mystery itself, but also who you are and who you are becoming. Now, what will you do with this knowledge? What impact will it have on your life and your choices going forward? If this text resonated with you, if something inside you was awakened by reading these words, subscribe to continue receiving deep reflections like this. Don't forget to comment on the topic. What does it mean for you to keep a secret? How do you handle this responsibility? We would love to hear about your experiences and thoughts on the power of silence and internal transformation. And of course, if you felt the strength of this message, leave your like to support the journey of self-discovery and transformation that we are all undertaking together. Every action you take strengthens this space of exchange and growth.